Hello everybody, I'm at UK Bike Fit. I'm back to do some more testing. In January I did a Lactate and a VO2 max, so I'm back, how many months later? 6 and a bit? July, to redo the testing. Lactate threshold I'm not too worried about because it's not too bad, but the VO2 I'm going to be knackered, so get ready to see this looking sweaty. Jen is going to be doing the testing. She's a physio, she works here at UK Bike Fit, and she'll explain all about the testing because she knows more than me about that. Right, so we're going to start off with the lactate threshold.
Lactate threshold, we look at level what we've heard of as LT1 and LT2. So that's lactate threshold 1 and lactate threshold 2. So lactate threshold 1 is basically when the lactate in your blood starts to become above sort of resting levels. So this is when you're mainly using fats as your energy source. It's like an aerobic where you can keep going for long amounts of time, so it's sort of a steady state. Your lactate threshold 2 is when you start to produce lactate at a higher volume than your body can buffer, so to get rid of it.
Right.
So that threshold is where you're working pretty hard, you're using a mixture of carbohydrates and fat, so it's a mixture of aerobic and anaerobic working, and that you can't sustain that for really long periods.
Right.
It's really great to know those 2 points because it can help with your training, so depending on what you're working on, you know which one that you need to increase and how to work to those values. So we measure the lactate threshold including your power and your heart rate. So if you go out and you're training it with a power meter, or if you're just training with heart rate, you know where you're sitting around your LT1 and your LT2 sort of threshold zones.
Yeah.
And then you can tailor your training to see how to improve them. So Amy's been doing lots of events and training a lot recently, so we can see if her training has increased any of those levels, if there's stuff that we need to change that you're doing in your training program.
So for me, the lactate level 1 is the one that I want to work on because I like endurance. Lactate threshold 2 is that for more like racing.
So if you're doing like sort of crit style racing, shorter stuff, maybe if you're a triathlete, it's kind of like the sprint end of triathlon, and then like the lactate threshold 1 is more the aerobic stuff that you're doing. So if you're like an Audax rider, sort of long distance, or the triathlon kind of like Ironman distance, that kind of thing, that's more that because that's more of an aerobic zone.
And you can build to make that so that you can make that higher.
So you can increase that, so then you can like sustain a higher power for that LT1 if you work more on that. You need to work at both zones to be able to increase either one, but obviously your training and racing will be more tailored towards LT1 than to LT2. So you can just make your training really specific and make sure that you're not training in that there is kind of like an in-between zone where you're kind of getting no benefit either, where you're kind of working fairly hard but not hard enough to increase your LT1, and also too hard to increase not hard enough to increase LT2 and too hard to increase LT1. So it's just getting rid of that, kind of making sure that you're training specific for you and that you're actually working towards what it is that you want to achieve.
Perfect. Right, well, let's do this. I'm a bit nervous because I don't know if mine's going to have changed. It
doesn't matter if it hasn't though.
Okay. I did get told off by my coach because he put on my plan to do like an hour ride and I did a 200k. And then, because it was a really nice day, because it was like the first summery day in the UK.
Well, we've not had many of those.
Yeah, and he messaged me like, 200k was not on your training plan today. I was like, yeah, sorry, I went a bit rogue. He's like, if you want to improve, you're going to have to stick to it. I was like, oh yeah, sorry. But no, it was all good. Like, I do really enjoy having a plan to follow, because although I did do that 200k go rogue, I don't do that very often. It's been really nice because for me, I just want to be out on the bike all the time, which is great and I love it, but it's also can wear me out. So it's nice to have that structure, to know that I can still do my long rides and my weekends are free for what I want to do, but in the week, the coach, Ewan, he's called Ewan, he might be watching, Ewan sets me like what I should be doing to just, so that my weekend rides can be long, but also I get a little bit faster, so. Yeah.
And with this, it doesn't matter whether it has gone down or not. It's like knowing that, and then Ewan will be able to tailor your training. And keep an eye on if you're doing too much.
I'll have to get told off again because I'm doing too many Audaxes.
To start off with, you just take a baseline lactate level to see what your lactate levels are like at rest, and then we'll know during the test when they're going up above that resting state.
I had to sit back down, I got a bit excited, I forgot they had to take some blood out of me. It doesn't hurt, it's just a little prick. Little pinprick. Someone standing behind the camera resembles that as well. Kyle's here, but he's not doing his testing today, are you? Chickened out.
No, they've decided I'm fit enough.
go.
So what should it be at resting?
So everybody's different. So I wouldn't give like a specific number, but it should be below 2.
Okay.
So we'd expect it to be probably around sort of like 1.3, 1.5, but some people could be a little bit higher. So yours is 1.9. That can also have to do with like if you've recently eaten.
I had porridge this morning.
Yeah, if you've recently eaten your breakfast, as your body is like digesting your food and turning those carbohydrates into glycogen, you use lactate for that. So that's sometimes why your lactate can be a little bit higher. And it might be when we start the test that it actually drops down a little bit, and that's normal too. So it's nothing to worry about. It's different for everybody.
Yeah. Last time I did the test, it was a bit high, and then we spun very
Yeah.
gently, and it went down. So
Yeah. So it can almost be like flushing your legs out. Okay.
that's why cool down's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, I'm in control of the mic now.
Oh, blooming hell, I've got worries.
Okay, so Amy's just started her lactate test now. She's got a 5-minute warm-up to start with, just to spin her legs out. So the power comes up on the top here. We have different levels for males, females, and elite athletes. After her warm-up, we'll do her lactate, her heart rate, and also check her RPE, so that's how hard she perceives the test to be. And then each step goes up in 4 minutes, and the watts will increase. And again, it depends on which level test you're doing to how much the watts increase. And then towards the end of each level, we'll just take Amy's lactate, take her RP and her heart rate, and we're aiming to go to just above 4 millimoles, so that is around your LT2 turn point. So you should end the test kind of feeling like, oh yeah, it's starting to get hard, but I could do a bit more, because we're not going into that like high-end threshold.
I'm just warming up. I've got my Garmin on just in case I get lost. I don't know why I didn't take that off, but so far so good, nice and easy. Just spin the lines. When I do the VO2 max after this, I will probably not be able to speak, so for once in your life, you won't have to hear me muttering on. Carl's happy about that, aren't you?
Yeah.
So this is after step 1, and Amy's blood lactate has actually gone down now. So we started at 1.9 towards her resting, and now it's 1.4, which can happen quite ordinarily. It's just that actually, as you're spinning this is a really easy pace for Amy. Your body's actually just getting rid of some of that lactate, so it's essentially kind of what like a cool down would be. So yeah, I'm sure it'll start to go up as the test gets harder. Amy just shown us she's an aerobic animal. It's gone back down to 1.3. So this is kind of a level that we'd expect of a resting lactate level.
My power at the minute's 164.
Feeling good?
Yeah. Gone up to the next step. We'll see if at any point we can make a lactate go up.
194 watts now. The lactate has gone up a little bit.
What do you guess, Kyle?
I'm guessing around 2.3.
He knows.
I can see when she's pushing.
It's gone up now. That'll put 225 watts, won't it?
3.6.
I think I'll be over 4 now.
3.3.
Oh, God. I think we've got to keep going.
No, you smash that though.
There we go, got it.
Grab some water after this. You're probably a bit warm too. Do you reckon?
It's got to be the end. Can't go any longer. What is it? 9.4!
Yeah, I think we've done it.
So it just went from 3.3 to 9.4. No wonder I'm struggling. Well done.
Well done. How was that, Amy?
You're trying to kill me off here. Let's go. Wait, can we turn it down a bit? Still on the testing.
Let me just turn down the standards and then you can spin like.
Yeah, about to say, do you want to go on a really easy spin?
Was that the VO2 max test?
There you go, you should be able to spin now.
That was actually mad. You went from, what was it, 3.3 to 9.
3.3
To 9.4.
to 9.4 in the space of about 5 minutes. 4 minutes.
No,
yeah.
4 minutes, yeah, that's mental.
Good work.
Well done, really strong.
Let's see if my lactate's improved since January.
I think
it might have done actually. Right, well I've just done my lactate threshold as you just saw. I mean, gee whiz, they're trying to kill me off here. It's more like doing a VO2 max. But anyway, the lovely gent is going to sort out our results and send them to me. So maybe, when will they be? Maybe tomorrow?
Yeah, probably tonight. Or tomorrow, yeah.
So tonight when we get home we can have a grand reveal and see if I've improved. To be honest, I thought I wouldn't have improved from last year, but from earlier this year. I can't talk because I'm so knackered. But I think I might have done, so when we get home we'll have a look. Because I can't actually, this is bad, I can't actually remember what it was. I think it was, I'm pretty sure, because I wasn't really bothered about my, well I was, but my lactate threshold 2 is in the forefront of my mind because I'm more bothered about my 1. But I think my 2 was, I'm pretty sure it was 225 last time. So I think it's gone up a bit. So we'll have to find out when we get home. But to be honest with you, at the moment, I'm a bit of a daze. And now that's over with, now I've got to get back on and do a blooming VO2 max. Get ready for this to literally be dripping. I mean, I'm a bit worried about the carpet, to be honest with you. Probably going to be a wet puddle underneath me. At least we've got a mat on under there because it's about to get sweaty. This fella behind the camera's having time of his life watching me. Yeah, somehow he's got out of it.
I'm in a good position here.
Because basically we've got our 24-hour time trial literally T-minus 2 weeks. So I wanted to do mine because I just wanted to get it done with today, but he's going to wait till after, aren't you?
Yes. And it'll be interesting to see what he is after.
Yeah, after you've been whipping your loins for 24 hours. Yeah. So Jen is just calibrating the VO2. Oh, she's just finished. I missed it. It's all right. You don't have to do it again. It's okay. She was just basically pumping that thing in and out. We missed it just on the video, but it's fine. Just to prove it has been calibrated. And we're all ready. I missed it on the camera because I was just messing around trying to wet wipe my face. I mean, oh, blow my neck. If I look like this now, what am I going to look like after this?
One thing I will say though is, Amy,
yeah,
at least this one's quick.
Yeah, this one's quicker. So my lactate threshold lasted 40 minutes, which Jen said was quite a long time. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
How long do they normally last?
It depends on the person, but yeah, we could have maybe started you at the higher level than we did, but because you started at the lower level last time, we're comparing your results, it's better to start again there.
Yeah, so 40 minutes of spinning, and then the VO2 normally lasts around?
Again, depends on the person, but you'll probably be done in 10 minutes.
Okay. Let's hope so. I was ready for the lactate to end, but I'm really excited to find out the results actually, because although I ride for fun and my long distance, because I do want to do well in my endurance, like All Points North next year, I kind of want to take it a bit more serious and see if I can get faster. That's why it's kind of important for me to do these tests to see if I can improve, but not lose the fun in cycling, because for me, cycling is my happy place, which is why with my coaching, my weekends are always free for what I want to do, aka me Audaxes. But it's just helping as well with just making sure that I'm progressing in the way I want to, because I think although it's fun, it's nice to have aims. So my aims are to do a lot more endurance and hopefully bring this one along with me.
Yeah.
Actually, an aim at the minute, so I did the 24-hour last year and I did 394 miles. So this year, which is in 2 weeks, I want to try and do 400 miles, which is what I've been working towards. So, yeah. Although in my head, I don't think I can do it, so I'm not going to pressure too much. Just get it done, but it's nice to have an aim. How many miles do you want to aim for?
I'm just going to park my bike.
Yeah.
I'm not putting zero pressure on myself. I'm going to turn up with my bike and I'm going to ride to see how far I can go.
That's good.
I've not actually got a target.
Yeah, I think with something like 24 hours, it's just good to just keep going into it.
I'm just going to have a jolly good jaunt.
I'm not sure how good it is for your body, but, we're just crazy, so. Jen, would you fancy a 24 hours out?
No.
We're getting ready to head to, the Caribbean or something here, because it's got to get hot.
Okay, so if you just hold that on there for me, I'll just get your bun in.
Kyle wants one of these when I'm annoying him.
How much are they?
Does that feel quite tight around your face? You feel any air leaking out? Fab.
Good.
So if you want to hop on,
I'm scared.
and just start pedalling, and then just do some nice deep breaths that'll help calibrate the machine to you. Yeah, we're already at 50, go on.
Amy, you're going up quick now, so just
do those.
Yeah, don't pass out. Amy's finally calibrated with the breathing out. How do you feel? I bet she feels a bit dizzy after that, actually. So she's coming towards the end of the warm-up now. 50 seconds left, Amy. Calibration took as much as that time, didn't it?
So this is the screen just showing some of Amy's numbers here. So Amy's got her heart rate on her wrist, so I'll just take that separately. But we've got her VO2 here, and as she goes up through the steps, that'll obviously increase, and then it gives us a reading at the end of the test for the highest 10-second VO2 that she's managed to take. We're also just going to do a lactate at the end of the test, just to see how high Amy's lactate is at the end of her VO2. This is a maximal test, so she should be really, really tired at the end of this. So it's probably one of the highest lactate readings that we'd get, which we wouldn't get on the normal lactate test.
So the test has actually started now. You're doing great, Amy. So she's gone up another step now, 174 watts, but the watts are irrelevant really, aren't they?
Yeah, so the watts are just really specific to Amy, but what we're looking at is her VO2, so these steps go up much quicker to try and get her to that max level, whereas in the lactate test it was a sub-max test, so it took a lot longer to get there. So we're just looking at a different variable here. Yeah. So we've gone up again, and we're going up to 200 now. Amy's doing great. So the steps are just a minute long on this.
Another step, 224. Looking good, Amy.
Yeah.
Really strong.
162, she's doing great. You just know that you have to push as hard as you can for a minute. And on this test, it's determined by you, so you just stop when you can't go any harder. You don't have to wait for me to tell you a special number for you to stop.
Yeah.
274. Just do a minute here. Your cadence is looking really good. Smooth.
Looking very good.
Got this, I reckon another one, don't you, Kyle?
I reckon another one at least. Only 40 more seconds of this one, Amy. It's only a minute at a time.
Yeah, come on, Amy, up another one. 3, 2, 4, come on. Come on, you're right on it, that's it. Just keep it there, 1 minute there.
As long as you can go, Amy, you're doing
Come on,
really
you
well.
can do it, you're doing great.
Smashing that.
You're doing so well, you've already done 15 seconds. 20 seconds, come on. You'll hear it in, you don't need to look at the screen. Come on, 15. You're doing brilliant, come on, keep going.
10 seconds.
You've got it, come on, come on.
Keep going, Amy.
You're doing great. 5.
Keep going till you stop.
Come on, Amy, push it.
Come on,
push
keep
it
going till you
now.
stop.
350, come on. That's it, you're there. You're up there. Come on, keep pushing.
Smashing
You're
that.
doing brilliant. Keep going, keep going. Just as long as you can here, Amy, you can do it. Come on. Come on, Amy, keep pushing, keep pushing. Come on, you're right on the target.
Amy,
you're doing
smashing it,
perfectly.
come on.
You're doing so well. Keep going, keep
As long
going.
as you can go.
Come on. Just push as hard as you can. You're still doing it. You're still on it.
Come on, 2 legs to
Come
go,
on,
no more.
you've got 30 seconds. Keep going.
Come on, Amy.
That's all right.
Well, that's
well
amazing.
done. Amazing. Great work. Right, we'll just do a lactate test for you for the end. 11.4.
Yes.
Nailed it, Amy. Well done.
I'm ready for a cool down now. That was hard. But it's ding dang done now, so get the results and then see where we are. Right, so I'm just wet wiping my face down. Feel like I've just been on holiday to Caribbean or Dubai, somewhere hot. Gee whiz, I was pushing. Jenny's going to explain a bit about what the results can mean.
Yeah, so VO2 max is really dependent on the individual, but essentially it's how much oxygen your body can utilise while you're exercising. So the higher the number means that you can take in more oxygen and your body can use it while you're exercising. So essentially it makes you fitter. So it also is weight dependent, so it's very unique to each person. We would expect sort of like really high-end athletes to be getting numbers around like the 70s, 80s, and it isn't like always necessarily the most indicative indicator of how fit you are. So there are other things as well. So it's really great to have this test alongside the lactate because then you can use them together to work towards whatever your goals are.
To be honest, like when I stopped, I think because I've literally just come back from France, did like 700 miles in the last week and did do a 10-mile walk yesterday. So I do kind of feel like, oh, maybe if I'd rested a bit, I could have gone longer. But you know, we'll do it again in 6 months and I'll make sure to rest properly before and we'll see.
Yeah, so ideally before you have the lactate and the VO2 max test, we ask you not to train the day before. But obviously some people, you know, with your lifestyle and things, can't always replicate that. So it's just important that if you are retesting, you kind of try and do similar things the day before that you were doing for each test so that the results are specific.
Yeah, we had to take Chester, our dog, on a big walk yesterday. We took him to the Peak District, it was great. So yeah, I did think, oh, is it best to do a 10-mile walk, but the dog's got needs and yeah. Time to go home now. Kyle's driving again, driving duties.
As always.
I'm going to go on a nice run later with Chester and I'm going to say thank you so much to Jen for having us.
No problem, it's a pleasure.
And when we get home, we'll have a look at what the results are. We'll update you with that. Right, it is about a week after the VO2 and lactate threshold test. We got home from the testing and to be totally honest, we took the dog out and forgot to do the end of the video, to be honest with you. We've actually just got back from a dog walk, but the results are in. I've already seen them. We'll share them with you. So we'll start off with the VO2 max test. So as Jen explained, it measures how much oxygen your body can use while you're exercising. Kyle's just here for the moral support on this one, aren't you, Kyle? So last time I did my VO2 max, it was 70.5 and surprisingly enough, it's not changed at all. It's still 70.5. To be honest, I didn't think it would change much because my VO2 max apparently is sort of like an elite level, which is very weird to me. And VO2 max is quite difficult to change. It's also largely based on genetics, so thanks mum and dad for those top quality genes. And even if you have a high VO2 max, that doesn't really mean anything if you don't train. So I could have a really high VO2 max, but if I don't really train, then it doesn't really mean anything. So the lactate threshold is more what we're looking at.
Also, can I say something about the VO2 test as well?
You can, Kyle.
A lot of people did actually comment before saying about the watts doesn't match up to the VO2, but realistically what was explained to us is the watts are irrelevant really, because that's not it's not measuring your watts or how hard you can push. It's just measuring how much oxygen you can take in at certain levels of intensity. Yeah,
it's basically measuring when you're at your maximum of how hard you can push, how much oxygen your body is using. So, yeah. Right, next. Oh, also, what I wanted to say was about the VO2 max. I watched back the video because I've already edited a bit of it. Blooming heck, I sound like I'm giving birth or something. The noises I'm making and how I look. Oh, God. It was not easy, I tell you. And I felt really hot and horrible, but I'm glad I've done it because now I've got that number. But when I look back at that video, I just think, gee whiz.
I'm glad I didn't do it.
I can't wait to see you do it.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a wait for mine. But
you're doing yours. Now, we'll move on to the lactate threshold. So as Jen explained, it measures your LT1 and your LT2. So your LT1, when you're in between 1 and 2, that's kind of your endurance kind of thing. LT2 is when you're pushing the aerobic.
You can't clear it.
Yeah, when you can't clear the lactate anymore. So once you get to LT2, your body's working hard and you can't clear the lactate. That's when you feel that
different types of fuels that are required.
Yeah. It's where you feel your burn in your legs. So last time in January, my lactate threshold 1 was 150 watts and my lactate threshold 2 was 200 watts. I will put a screenshot of this in the video just for proof. Now then, I was actually quite shocked because I thought maybe it's not going to improve, but my lactate threshold 1 is now 200.2 watts, so it's gone up by 50 watts, and my lactate threshold 2 is 255 watts, so that's gone up by 55 watts. Now, I wasn't sure what is good to go up by, but Dan from UK Bike Fit did message me and say, that's flipping awesome, so...
That is insane.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound big-headed because I don't want to sound big-headed, but I was quite proud of myself for that. And I think I have had a coach since January, and obviously it has made a difference.
Also, you have trained a lot. So it's not just gone up by itself.
No.
You've had to put in a lot of work to make that improvement.
Yeah, and I've had to change up things. So I've been doing, like over the winter, I did interval training sessions, which I can't say I enjoy as much as going on a long Audax, but it has meant that I can now go longer, faster, because my LT1 has gone up. So it means that I'm still sort of but my body's not producing as much lactate at a higher watt. So, or it's producing the same amount of lactate at a higher watt, so I can go at those watts and still sort of feel the same in my body. So I can do a 50 watts higher and my body still feels like it's the same amount of tired as in January when I was 50 watts lower. So it means I can push out higher watts for longer, basically, which is good because it means I can keep up with this whippersnapper that's somehow become some sort of blooming beast.
I'm not sure about that. But yeah, it's really impressive. Yeah. And also...
Your watts, I'm telling you, he has improved so much. Your watts will have at least gone up by 50, I guarantee it. I'll be very surprised.
I've seen from some training exercises that I've done that are quite high at the minute, but a bit too hard for my liking. They're hurting me in these training sessions. So.
Yeah, but we'll see. So Carl's going to do his hopefully after, but next thing on the agenda, Carl's bike fit video is coming out next, probably tomorrow or the day after, and then we've got the 24-hour time trial. So realistically, seeing as my watts have improved, I should be able to do more miles than last year. Last year I did 394 miles. My aim is 400 miles, but I never like to put too much pressure on myself because, to be honest, riding 24 hours is just a blooming miracle to finish it, to be honest with you. And obviously you can't compare because it could be more windy.
It's a different day.
Yeah, it's a different day, so we'll just see. And also this one's doing it too.
And also, not only that, there's loads of different variables in a long distance ride, like mental, how you're feeling mentally on the day, or loads of different things. So no one should ever put pressure on themselves. Every day is different, and just go and do your best.
Yeah, exactly. But I think for me, I do like to have a bit of an aim to give myself that.
It's good to have that, isn't it?
A bit of...
Don't pressure yourself.
Yeah, because I know that I'll be disappointed if I don't match it, but I've just got to remind myself it's okay. Anyway, that was a bit of a waffle, but there's my results. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and there are some discount codes in the description if you wanted to have a VO2 max or a lactate threshold. I mean, I wasn't the best at advert for it with the noises I was making, but it is good because it gives you like a base for what you need to work on and gives you an idea of where you're at. But it's up to you, really.
And it works.
Yeah, the training works, yeah, it does.
So.
My coach is also with UK Bike Fit as well, and they are one of my partners for this year, so very grateful for that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. TT to the FN. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'm going to go and have a nice crunchy apple now and give Trester a nice stroke.
I'm going for a sleep.
Yeah, Carl wants a nap because he's just come back from a long walk.